Advanced canola trait technology is here. And it's soon to be the talk of the town. Optimum Glide delivers excellent yield potential and agronomic trait performance. Improved crop safety. Enhanced weed control. And a wider window of application. You're going to want to see this. Learn more at OptimumGlide.ca.
It's time for RealAg Radio on Rural Radio Channel 147 on Sirius XM. RealAg Radio and RealAgriculture.com is your home for insight and analysis of the issues that are impacting your farm business. Let's get real and get connected with RealAg Radio. Welcome to RealAg Radio here on Rural Radio 147, Sirius XM. Shaun Haney, your host here on this Thursday edition of the show. Thanks so much for making RealAg Radio and Rural Radio 147 a big part of your workday. It is Thursday, which means it's the Farmer Rapid Fire, and it's brought to you by Pioneer Seeds Canada. For more than 90 years, Pioneer has developed and tested products to meet your local challenges. With new Z-Series soybeans, new Optimum Glide canola, top-performing corn products, and industry-leading traits and technologies to maximize your yield potential. Pioneer's on-the-ground teams can help you get the right products for your fields. Visit pioneer.com/Canada to learn more. Today on the Farmer Rapid Fire, I'm excited about we got some veterans, some wily veterans, and we've got a newbie as well. A rookie to the Farmer Rapid Fire. We're going to talk to Mark Torrey. He's in Woodville, Ontario. Luke Barron is in Schomberg. We've got Mike Beckie in Davidson, Saskatchewan. We've got Kresten Jorgenson out in Oyen, Alberta. And new to the program will be Randy Tkachyk out of Sundown, Manitoba. If you have any feedback, send me an email, shaney@realagriculture.com. We start off this week's Farmer Rapid Fire in Woodville, Ontario. We're talking to Mark Torrey. Hey, Mark, how's it going today?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. Hey, what's happening on the farm this week?
Well, just on my way home from a little farm tour of Eastern Ontario, so hopefully get back to some wheat harvest back in East Central Ontario. I think we got some rain back there at home today, but maybe get rolling tomorrow.
Okay. What was the field tour about?
We were just a group of us were out traveling around. Got a little up at a site of the Fort of Johnson and up towards Athens and a lot of the eastern part of the province that we haven't seen much of. So, get a little taste of what the eastern side of the province looks like.
How's that wheat looking?
Well, I'll know better myself, hopefully in the next couple of days here. But talking to some of my neighbors and friends, I think probably the perspective on it is yield is looking average. I think straw is probably going to be pretty good. Wheat's one of those crops that, it always looks fantastic until you get into it, and then that's when the details come out of it. But I'm hopeful for some good and get some cover crop in there as soon as we get the straw out of the way.
Okay, so once you get the straw out of the way, you're going to put some cover crop in. What will you go with?
I kind of play with fairly basic mixtures. Usually, I'll stick with like an oat radish mixture, maybe sometimes some rye. We've got some decent grant programs for helping subsidize that in parts of the province, so it kind of makes it a bit of a no-brainer. And let's just face it, it's fun. In the springtime, you're fighting wet ground and you're fighting time and everything else to get planting. But honestly, planting in the middle of summer, it's fun. Just getting out there and running the equipment around a little bit more, right?
It kind of makes you want to have cows.
I do. I still have the cows, but I haven't made that leap of setting up the temporary fencing and grazing and all that. I do have a lot of friends that are into that, and someday I might. But for right now, I'm happy with the cows just staying put where they are.
Okay.
It's summer vacation season, so I try to forget a few things at home.
So you're putting that oat radish mixture in. Then what? You get it established. What are you doing next?
Yeah, so I'm typically just leaving it for green cover, and then no-till as much as possible around my place on some pretty light sandy loam. We used to grow potatoes on our farm, so I'm trying to leave it, but I'm kind of stuck. We're newer to the broiler industry, so we're managing manure in a new way. And I'm torn on this, surface applied manure versus incorporating a manure, getting the best bang for your buck, and environmental concerns, and so yeah, just playing around with different options, and at the same time just utilizing the equipment that I've got available.
So, I kind of forgot you have broilers now.
Yeah, so our family, we were fortunate to get into the new entrant program about a year and a half ago. We constructed a barn in 2022 and started into production around Christmas of 2022, and so we're about a year and a half into that now, and we didn't really talk about it with a lot of people at the beginning because we just wanted to make sure that we kind of had things figured it out before we promoted it too much. But it's been a great little addition to our farm enterprise.
Well, that is so. What's the biggest thing you've learned in the year and a half?
That interest rates make a big deal. There's no doubt about that. But I can certainly say the one thing, moving or looking at the cow-calf industry compared to the broiler industry, just the procedures and protocols. I mean, it's very highly regulated and monitored, reporting in that industry, but that's what makes it so successful. I mean, it's predictable. Everything is repeatable. Our feed company knows exactly how much feed we need for every flock, and can help us calculate how much feed we have on remaining in the bins. Getting towards the end of the flock, we can predict exactly how much production is going to come out of that barn for the most part. So, when you're dealing with, you're taking all those environmental risks, like in the cow-calf business. I mean, there's some years, you can have a high percentage of losses just because of weather-related instances, right? So when you really take that weather out of the situation, then that really is it certainly is a definite plus. But like I say, I still keep some cows, keep me honest, right? So.
Yeah. Well, one of the big benefits will be the poultry manure.
Absolutely. That was, one of the main reasons that we wanted to get into it, because, we are in kind of the northern part of some of the more productive growing area, very light soils, not super productive. So that is definitely going to be a major addition to it. We've got our manure production factory here that's churning out another batch every 9 or 10 weeks. So yeah, definitely it's going to be a perk. I've already started noticing some of it. We were lucky this year. I got my corn in before the big rains started, and now the corn out there is just looking phenomenal here. So I've got big hopes for the future yields on Torrey farms, that's for sure.
Nice. Well, it's nice how all that connects together in the puzzle. A nice segue. I appreciate that. You're a pro at this radio game. I was just my next question was about that corn yield. You seem pretty optimistic about what kind of potential you have out there in the field.
Yeah, it is so variable. I mean, everybody's been telling you.
Oh, see, now you're down talking it.
Yeah. I'm proud of my crop, right? Except for, a couple of low spots that are dead. And, I did kind of kill my headlands with a little bit of spray residue. But the center of the field is looking phenomenal. I can say that much. So if you can look past the fence, I've got high hopes here. I mean, yeah, we're still months away from harvest, but the sandy ground that I'm on, when we've been getting rains every 3 days like we've had, it's certainly been benefiting. Now, saying that, I did just bale the last of my first cut hay the day before yesterday, so it's got challenges there in other aspects of the business. Yeah.
Do you sell your corn for cash, or are you feeding most of it now?
No, everything, all my corn production is going into grain marketing.
Are you getting pulled over?
I just muted you. That's fire truck going by.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if you're getting a speeding ticket. That'd be a first here on the Farmer Rapid Fire. Somebody getting a speeding ticket while they're talking to me.
Yeah, I parked. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's not as exciting.
No. Next time, we'll try.
We talked about the corn. How about those soybeans?
Yeah, they're shaping up really well too. I'm always growing some shorter day beans to get some wheat in the ground. I'm kind of one of those believers in trading off a little bit of bean yield for some better wheat productivity.
Good stuff.
Wheat is still a crop that I struggle with on our farm in terms of getting those yields that the provincial average is getting. But I still like having it in the rotation, breaking up that helping with the weed control issues and just breaking up the work for the area in the times of year for getting crop in the ground.
Good stuff. Well, hey, Mark, thanks so much for joining us this week on the Farmer Rapid Fire.
All right. Always a pleasure.
Great stuff. Okay, we're going to continue the Farmer Rapid Fire. When we come back, you're listening to RealAg Radio, brought to you today by Pioneer Seeds Canada. It's now time for a product spotlight. Vice President of Investor Relations with Genesis Fertilizers, it is Barry Mann. What impact are these global trends having on Canadian farmers?
When you look at the shipping routes and you look at the actual maps of where fertilizer is moving around the world, you really don't see a lot coming into North America, right? There's enough just to kind of meet that demand. So we're targeting those farmers that want to be directly vertically integrated, because Genesis will sell at market price. We're just joining the market. But the difference is, instead of major hedge funds and foreign governments owning our fertilizer production, it's going to be owned by the farmers. So the farmers are coming on, they're investing to a level that represents their fertilizer usage on the farm. They then receive the profits and the dividends on those tons. So their net fertilizer price at the end of the day will be closer to the manufacturer's cost, which right now is about $240 in Western Canada. So when it's selling at $700 or $800 or in 2022, $1,250, there's a significant amount of profitability that are going to come back to the farm.
Make sure you go to genesisfertilizers.com.
The Pulse School on RealAgriculture.com has everything you need to get your crop off to a great start and a strong finish. Whether you're growing chickpeas, faba beans, lentils, or peas, you'll get all the latest and best agronomic information at PulseSchool.com. A library of top-notch agronomy videos from industry experts available on demand at your fingertips. Visit the Pulse School, brought to you by BASF on RealAgriculture.com.
Welcome back to RealAg Radio for the Farmer Rapid Fire, brought to you by Pioneer Seeds Canada. And right now we are joined by Luke Barron, who is in Schomberg, Ontario. Hey, Luke, how's it going?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
Pretty good. Okay, how's harvest going?
Oh, well, everyone's working at wheat around us, and we didn't actually grow any wheat ourselves this year. We just combined a little bit for a friend of ours and got that done on Monday, and now I'm just actually going. We buy straw every year, so I'm just going to get a load of straw off of a guy that we buy it off of out of the field. So kind of what we're up to.
Yeah. What was the reason for not putting wheat in this year?
Oh, I don't know. We don't normally grow it. We haven't grown wheat in quite a few years. Just the price of it, and we're always busy doing hay around wheat time, and just figure it's easier just to buy the straw off of somebody. And that's what we've done for the last several years. So It seems to work out for us.
You're picking up straw here today. How's the straw price?
It's a little higher than it has been in the last couple of years, but I don't actually know what we haven't talked to price with the guy that we usually get it off of here, but he's usually pretty fair to us. So
yep.
So,
well, if you pick it up before you have the price negotiated, I guess you've got the inventory, so you've got the leverage, I guess.
Yeah, that's for sure. I guess just trust each other. I've known the guy for quite a long time, so
Yeah,
I'm not too worried about it.
Lots of deals done on a handshake around, or in farm country.
That's for sure.
How is that hay crop?
Well, it's been a tough one to get off this year. It's been very wet here for us. We've just had rain after rain, and we had a hard time getting our corn and beans in the ground in the spring, and we've had a hard time getting them sprayed in between rains, and the hay crop's it's a good, lots of volume there, but it's been tough to get it off dry, like dry baling it. But yeah, it's been the biggest issue with us so far this year.
Yeah. How about the corn? How about the corn and soybeans?
The corn looks really well, and the earlier planted beans look very well too. We actually ended up planting beans right into July, and those beans don't look very good, but I guess you can't really expect them to. And any beans that kind of went in on, maybe the field should have waited another day or two to get planted, but it was going to rain again and kind of pushed them in, and you can tell those fields where they weren't planted in ideal conditions, but that's just how it goes sometimes, I suppose.
When you look at the corn, can you really see the difference in planting dates?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. I've got corn at home. Our farm's a lot sandier, and it's out in tassel already. And there's corn the last corn that we planted. It's probably two weeks at least away from going into tassel. So yeah, you can definitely tell. That's for sure.
Any issues with things like tar spot or any pest issues like western bean cutworm? Anything you're seeing that's of massive concern right now?
We're kind of getting worried about the tar spot. They said that they've seen it down out a couple hours west of us in Woodstock, and they say with all the storms we've been getting, it'll drift in with the storms and whatnot. So the agronomist is telling us. So we sprayed for it last year with a helicopter. We put fungicide on at right now at tassel, and actually the helicopter's supposed to come next week and spray our corn again, put fungicide on it with a helicopter. So that's kind of neat I don't know if you've ever seen them spray with a helicopter,
oh, yeah.
But it's kind of like having your own private air show, so it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And, yeah. I saw a video on Instagram yesterday where I'm not sure if it's brave or dumb, but the helicopter was spraying the corn, and I don't know where this was. I don't know if it was in Ontario or if it was in the U.S., but the helicopter was spraying the corn, and it was going under the power line.
Oh yeah, you're the second person that has told me about that video.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I'd say maybe dumb, but
okay, you're on. I was gonna vote dumb. A lot can go wrong. A lot can go wrong.
Kidding, yeah.
But
that's for sure.
It's really cool when you see the spray plane, how it dives down. It's fun to watch from the side of the road. But the helicopter is like this whole other angle of like just that steep dive, and just those pilots they're so talented.
Yeah, last year we were watching them spray at home, and they'd come right up to the barn and go right up over and make like a turn, like a kind of like looks like a skateboarder on a half pipe, and go right back down again. And it's pretty cool.
Wow.
But,
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to go.
That's the only.
I'd like to go for a ride.
Oh yeah, for sure. Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah.
Just make sure we go before supper.
Yeah, no kidding. Before you have a couple beers, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe you need a couple beers to increase the courage.
Yeah, maybe.
That could be it too. Anything else going on the farm this week?
No, not really. We shipped cattle. Finally, the strike's over for us here in Ontario.
Yeah, thank goodness.
We shipped cattle on Monday, and we're happy about that. And just doing always something going on, but nothing too important.
Yeah.
But,
Good price for the cattle?
Yeah, it is pretty good. Yeah. Scary now to buy new ones in to replace them, but I don't know. I guess you just hope that the price stays up and you don't get burned, but I guess it's happened in the past.
Yeah, replacement inventory is pretty steep right now in the cattle business. It's minding those numbers. That is for sure. It's making sure you get your pencil out and sort it out. It's a tough game. There's opportunity. I was going to say it's a tough game. It's a tough game to get your head wrapped around the size of the numbers. But there is opportunities out there, which is good to see.
Yeah. Like we bought cattle there last fall, and I thought they were expensive enough, and God, now they're up another about $400 a head again. So
wow.
It's kind of you gotta really sharpen the pencil, I guess. But
absolutely. Hey, are you going to get to any field days this summer at all?
Oh, I think just the local ones here. We'll have a little corn and bean day and talk about stuff, but not going too far away from home, I don't think.
Okay. Well, this week our poll is we're asking farmers what's the best part about a field day, and there's a lot of different options that people can choose too. What's your favorite thing about a field day?
Oh, I guess probably be the coffee and donuts.
the food. Well, I was going to say the food truck, because some of these field days are getting pretty creative with the food truck. So I'm with you.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Well, Luke, good luck with the rest of the growing season here and harvest, and we'll talk to you a little bit later on in the season, okay?
Okay, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. That is Luke Barron and Schomberg. Okay, when we come back on RealAg Radio, we're going to continue the Farmer Rapid Fire, brought to you by Pioneer Seeds Canada.
If you're involved in the agriculture industry, it's important to stay informed on all the latest issues affecting your business. At RealAgriculture.com, we offer fast, reliable news, information, and insights to help you keep on top of all of the latest in Canadian agriculture. Visit RealAgriculture.com and sign up for our free daily newsletter covering everything from news, agronomy, animal agriculture, and much more. Visit RealAgriculture.com/subscribe today.
It's now time for a product spotlight with Vatterstad. Director of Sales for Western Canada is Philip Korzak.
The market and our customers specifically have been asking for increased capacity in their seeding systems so that they can stay in the field longer. So Vatterstad is very excited, offering an all-new size in our precision delivery tank line, which is our biggest that we now have. This 1,350 bushel cart will have individual weight scales on each bin, individual electronic metering for each primary per bin, industry-leading section control, and more features that are out there. Unique to this new PD 1350 are a redesigned front axle, allowing for the accommodation of dual tires. The rear axle is also getting a larger set of tires. It will have 900 duals. So with this increased footprint front and rear, compaction is minimized. A hydraulically engaged braking system is on the rear axle to also ensure the safety of our operators with this large amount of product.
So if somebody wants more information, Philip, where do they go?
Vatterstad.com. Go under the seating tab. You're more than welcome to reach out to your local Vatterstad dealer for more information.
And welcome back here on RealAg Radio for the Farmer Rapid Fire, which is brought to you by Pioneer Seeds Canada. And we've got a newbie to the Farmer Rapid Fire. We're talking to Randy Tkachyk, who is in Sundown, Manitoba. Hey, Randy, welcome to the Farmer Rapid Fire.
Hey, Shaun, how you doing?
I'm doing really good. Okay, so, hey, you reached out and said, hey, I'd love to be on the Farmer Rapid Fire, which I greatly appreciate. We're always trying to expand the people that we are talking to here on the program. So tell us about your farm.
Well, we are about 100 miles southeast of Winnipeg, right along the international border. We're 50 miles east of the Red River. And primarily what we do is we grow grass. We have our own cow-calf operation. And we also custom graze a couple of other herds as well.
How's the moisture situation, the pasture conditions?
Oh, pastures are they're a gold mine right now. They're great. We've had the moisture coming up end of May, and then June started coming in a little bit too much. But we were faced with the drought last year, I would sooner have too much moisture than not enough.
Yeah, I think a lot of ranchers would agree with you. Now, your grazing practices, I'm curious here. Now, you participate in a video series that we had done about grazing and carbon sequestration and that kind of stuff. Are you a traditional grazer, an advanced grazer, somewhere in between or outside of those? What are some of your practices?
Well, I guess a term for whoever thinks is traditional or advanced, that'll be their only point of view. We rotate our cattle almost every other day to new pastures. Or the point is, what I'm looking for is the future of what is grass potentially going to be looking like in 30 to 40 days on that paddock, because they will only spend 3 days onto that paddock, depending on growing conditions, and pull them off. And then we want to visit that with fresh grass coming in to that 30 to 40 days later. And I also am looking at keeping cattle out on a longer growing season. Like, I want to go right up till snowfall, maybe even past, if conditions allow us to.
Are you just doing grass grazing, or do you do things like corn grazing, things like that?
Its majority is all grass grazing. We also practice in putting in cover crops in the spring. We do take 1 or 2 cuts off that, and then coming into the fall, that'll be a late season grazing right till winter.
You know, we've got numerous beef producers on the show here this week, which is just kind of how it worked out. Curious your thoughts about prices have been pretty good, and the rancher is I think got a bit of a smile on their face. It's good to see some profitability, at least in this turn in the sector.
Yeah, it's nice to see that, but we need to see this for a few more years. Like we have been scratching, input costs have been rising as well. And I think here in the farm I'm looking is try to keep the wolf away from the door. Well, not maybe wolf away from the door, but pay some debt off. Yeah.
Well, when we saw this week interest rates, the Bank of Canada decided to, for the second time, or I guess second straight meeting, reduce the key lending rate, which I think is welcome for a lot of people that are carrying debt on variable loans, for sure. It's a good point you're making, though, because when you do have a year where you better cash receipts and there's some profitability, you do need to kind of make that strategic decision. What are we going to do? Are we going to use this for growth, or are we going to use this to maybe put that balance sheet in a little bit better situation, right?
Yeah, it's it's hard to say what to do. We don't know what the future is. Like, how long are these prices going to stay where they are at? And it has been some real positive margins over the last year and a half, and prices that I have not ever seen. So it's you can take it, and it's a great position to be in. I think manage it wisely.
Yeah. What do you see from a cow-calf perspective? What do you see as one of the big opportunities, or the biggest opportunity as you look at what's in front of us here?
I guess there's a few things I guess that's a tough question. I think here is with all the cull cows that we do have on the farm, well, we're going to get rid of them because we can put them into some real positive cash. But you still want to maintain that herd because we don't know what the future will be.
I think a lot of times it's easier for us to think about in agriculture because of all the variables. I think it's easier for us to come up with, here's what concerns me, or here's what I'm worried about, here's what some of the threats are, because I think that's what we try to mitigate, though. We tend to focus on those to mitigate those more, I think, sometimes than thinking about some of the opportunities.
Yeah, it's, I think, but we have to remember, too, over 20 years ago, I lived through BSC, and I've seen the negative impact that happens, but also we have to look at where our Canadian dollar is. I don't think we would see the prices are any of our commodities, cattle, even the grains too. I know the grain market is not doing well at all right now. And, having a low dollar is benefiting us. But on the other side of it, too, if we need to buy something, we also are paying a lot more money for it, too, because everything is dictated, farm machinery, on the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, so you mentioned that Canadian dollar, and I've been watching that. And I mentioned the Bank of Canada lowering rates again here this week. Second time in the U.S. is still held so far. There's a 50% chance that the Bank of Canada lowers again, apparently in September. I've been watching how all this impacts the Canadian dollar, and right now we've kind of found a bit of a home at 72 cents. But as a cattle producer, you're watching that dollar pretty darn close.
Yeah, we live so close to the U.S. We even we do some of our part buying as well in here too. So I'm watching that, but really it's the cash sales brought into the yard. That is the biggest deal there. It's because if the dollar goes up a bit, it does affect our cattle prices. And it's a big time as well.
Yeah, very, very much so. So what's all going on the ranch here this week? What are you up to?
Well, right now we should be finished cutting all of our, we're on our second cut already. That'll be done today. And we've got a little bit of polycrop to finish off. And I think we're going to need to cut some of our pastures down because cattle have not seen any of their hooves on that. So I'd like to cut that down, and then we can come back in 50 days after that cutting and get a late season grazing out of that. So it's, the moisture conditions are good. It's holding up the machinery. And on the other hand, too, I noticed that we have to treat a little more animals for foot rot because the ground being wet.
Oh, really? Foot rot. Oh, wow. Okay. Definitely used to that in a feed yard situation growing up. Absolutely. That's you got to tackle that fast.
Yeah, if I'm on top of it right away, it's usually 2 days. Everything is gone. So it's very easy checking cattle when you're moving from paddock to paddock. And if you get some of those stragglers, then you take a closer look and identify them. Come the next day, and I usually just dart them, and we're done. You
mentioned polycrop. What do you got going on there?
What we plant is a 15 species crop that for two reasons is we get a lot of production without any fertility, and also I'm kind of curious of what's happening with soil health. I'm very naive to that, so I thought in order to figure it out, I need to start planting it.
Ah, nice. Cool. How long have you been doing that multi-species?
This is the fourth season we've gone into it.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. Good to try new stuff.
Yes, it makes you young.
I like it. Well, Randy, really appreciate you joining us here today on the Farmer Rapid Fire, and I look forward to our next chat. You're in the rotation, my friend, so we'll chat with you again soon.
Thank you very much, Shaun. Have a good day.
Hey, we'll be right back on the Farmer Rapid Fire here on RealAg Radio right after this.
Does your N stabilizer contain an active ingredient load high enough to be agronomically effective? If not, it could be costing you time and money. If you're putting down a nitrogen stabilizer, put your trust in Koch Agronomic Services. Solutions like Super U, Tribune, and Anvil. Each delivers high active ingredient concentrations that low-rate products just can't match. Compare how imitator products stack up to agronomically effective solutions at defendyourn.ca.
I'm Lindsay Smith from RealAgriculture.com. Join me Monday nights for The Agronomist, a 1-hour live and interactive show broadcast across YouTube, Facebook, and X. Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, I host expert agronomists from all over the country to give you answers to some of the toughest agronomic questions. Join us live or catch the replay Tuesday morning. That's The Agronomist with me, Lindsay Smith, Monday nights live at 8 p.m. Eastern.
The Farmer Rapid Fire is brought to you by Pioneer Seeds Canada, and our next stop on this trip across the country is Davidson, Saskatchewan. We're talking to Beckie. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good. You got suntan lotion on today out in this heat?
No, sitting in the truck right now, so it's not that.
Yeah. How is the heat impacting those crops that I've heard are pretty decent in Davidson?
They're doing okay. I think it took some of the top end off of it. You know, the oil seeds are maybe taking a little bit more of a licking than anything. But overall, things are looking still pretty good. We can sure use the rain here soon.
But we can't seem to produce a cloud.
No, we sure can't. It's been smoky here the last 2-3 days, so that's kind of saved us a little bit. You know, it hasn't gotten as hot as what they said it was gonna.
Yeah, you know, and if we've learned anything over the past number of years with some of the forest fires and we're dealing with smoke, it buys us some time until the next rainstorm. But the key is the next rainstorm's got to come. Yeah,
and it doesn't sound like there's really anything for the next while anyways. What I've listened to, so.
Yeah. Would you say that in those parts as you're driving around, the fields are still like that average? Or Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I'd say in our area, I think it'll still be an average crop. I think some of the earlier crops will be better. You know, the guys that got seeding earlier than some of the later stuff. But
yeah, I think I would say that seeding date, you know, in those early seeded cereals versus the later seeded cereals, we're going to see a big difference in the yield.
I think so.
Yeah.
Even in the canola. There's lots of canola around home that are flowering, and a few guys that got in early, they're all potted and already, finished flowering for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. They're looking pretty decent.
Yeah, if you were really early on your canola and you got out of flowering before, I don't know how much of that is even out there, but out of flowering prior to the heat, you're really laughing. But yeah, that's pretty few and far between. The majority of the canola is in flower during this heat.
Yeah, and you take the risk at seeding really early, getting hit with an early frost or whatever. But it turned out good for the guys that did this year.
Any sign of things like grasshoppers?
Oh yeah. Been spraying some grasshoppers and aphids.
Oh, aphids. Have they been pretty bad?
Yeah, the numbers are starting to climb up there now.
Yeah, this heat, we early in the spring, we were kind of pushing off that grasshopper egg hatch, and this heat has definitely brought them. You got to stay on top of it, because I don't know about you, but I've seen years where those grasshoppers can take acres fast.
Yeah, it doesn't take them long once they get going. But most of it around home there has been kind of spraying borders. There's the odd field that has been sprayed totally, but it's been mainly just field edges, not trying to keep them under control.
Have you seen many pests in the canola?
Not really, not yet anyway. I hope it stays that way.
Fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing we got our fingers crossed on is the markets, and trying to find any great insights there to share with the rest of us?
No, not really. I wasn't smart enough to price any wheat this spring at $9, so I don't think too many guys want to listen to what I would offer up.
Well, I think you're in pleasant company. I think there's
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. You don't have any 23 crop hanging around, do you?
No. Had a little bit of wheat left to haul after seeding, and got that all in. And no, we're not sitting on any 23 now.
Okay. What else is going on in the area right now that, like, in a week like this here at the back end of July?
Not a whole lot going on, in the area. I think guys are trying to get away for some holidays while they can get a chance. Everybody's, either out and spraying some bugs or that kind of thing. We're just in the process of setting up the grain dryer on the farm. We bought one a year ago and just got the cement pad poured yesterday, so we can carry on with putting that in place and get all the electrician and the gas guy out and, that kind of stuff.
Your grain dryer. So do you know something about fall that you want to share with the rest of us? What kind of conditions we're going to be facing?
Well, we've had a lot, we've had quite a few good falls. We're due for a bad one, and I hope it isn't this year either.
Whoa, Mike.
I know, but hey, it's just the way it goes. I hope I never have to use it, but
you know what? And I hope you don't have to use it either. And you know what? It's having that alternative plan. That's okay. So if we are faced with that kind of condition in the fall, we know what we got to do. We're not scrambling, right? And so if you use that thing 1 out of 5 years, that 1 out of 5 year, you're going to be thanking yourself that you got it on the farm.
Oh, exactly. It's just one of those things that it's an expense and you don't use it every year. A guy probably should start sooner and, run some through the dryer, but it'll be a nice thing to have.
For sure. Hey, you make it to any field days? Are you going to make it to any field days here this summer at all?
I haven't. I was always either on the sprayer or whatever. I guess we'll see what comes up a little later on. We're going to try and sneak away next week up to the cabin for a week.
Oh, good for you.
Just to kind of do nothing and then get back to work on the farm, get stuff ready for harvest.
We can do some fishing?
Possibly. I'm thinking a whole lot of doing nothing.
Oh, my favorite kind of vacation right there.
Exactly.
Like, do you have a plan? Nope. Good.
Nope, not at all.
I like it. Rest, relaxation, recharge. Sounds good to me.
Having some friends come from Alberta coming to stay with us, so haven't seen them for almost a year, so that'll be good.
Well, be careful of those Albertans. They're a rowdy bunch.
I know.
Hey, Mike, thanks so much for joining us here this week on the Farmer Rapid Fire. All the best to you, okay?
You bet. Take care.
Okay, we'll be right back on the Farmer Rapid Fire, brought to you by Pioneer Seeds Canada.
Since 2010, the Wheat School on RealAgriculture.com has been helping farmers to grow great wheat. Covering everything from markets, the latest research, pest and disease control, all the way down to on-farm trials, the Wheat School has everything your crop needs. Check out our massive video library on YouTube and grow great wheat with the Wheat School, brought to you by Syngenta Canada, C&M Seeds, and Alberta Grains.
Advanced canola trait technology is here. And it's soon to be the talk of the town. Optimum Glide delivers excellent yield potential and agronomic trait performance. Improved crop safety, enhanced weed control, and a wider window of application. You're going to want to see this. Learn more at OptimumGlide.ca.
And we finish up this week's Farmer Rapid Fire, brought to you by Pioneer Seeds Canada in Oyen, Alberta. And we're talking to Kresten Jorgenson. Hey, Kresten, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good. How about you?
Pretty good. Okay, what's happening out there? You drying up?
Yeah, we are. I was just saying, if you had called 3 weeks ago, I probably would have said we were looking at bumper crops, but it's been about a month with no rain now, so they're drying up pretty good, and it's been close to 3 weeks of being over plus 30, so that's not helping.
Yeah, the heat's been pretty intense here the past numerous weeks, and without any rain, we just don't have the subsoil moist reserve, right? There's nothing underneath there to get us through.
Yeah, we need one here pretty quick.
So, would you say we're working our way back to average, or are you concerned that we're kind of moving below that?
Yeah, moving below average now, but we're a lot better than we have been the past few years. So we're definitely be better than that. Yeah. Like we'll have enough feed and everything, and the hay was actually still working on haying right now, but it was probably the best it's been in 10 years or so.
Oh, really? Well, that hurts. That hurts. That just you watch it in front of your eyes, sort of evaporate, right? That takes its toll on you. You gotta. It sounds like you're keeping things in perspective, but it still sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which crop what's holding on the best?
Well, grain farmers won't like this, but I kind of threw the rotation out the window this year, and I seeded everything barley. So that's all we have is barley.
Oh, and what led to that decision?
Have combined nothing except what we need for seed since 2020. So I figured if we were taking everything off for feed anyway, barley, or else could have gone like soft white wheat or something like that too. That's what we did last year.
Yeah.
But I figured there's no point in growing something like peas if it was going to be dry again. But it turns out I should have kept the peas in the rotation because the peas actually look really good locally. It's probably the crop that looks the best.
So
I'm not sure how they're doing because they're flowering right when the heat hit. And to me, they didn't seem like they flowered for very long, but I don't want to walk in my neighbor's crops, so I don't know. Don't know if they're making pods or not.
So,
but they sure look good from the road.
Yeah, what's getting you through then? I guess the cattle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're mostly cattle. So.
And how's that been for you lately?
The prices are record high, so pretty good. I wish we didn't have to sell down so many of our numbers because of the drought, but you really can't complain with cattle, right? The past couple of years because prices are. I don't think anybody expected them to be as high as they are.
Yeah, earlier in the show we were talking to Luke, who's in Ontario, and he just sold some fats, and he said, the price is great, but I'm a little scared about the cost of the replacement inventory.
Yeah, the feedlots need to replace them with high-priced calves. So.
Yeah, but the cow-calf sector, I think the sentiment has been, over the past numerous months when we're talking about this topic is it's about time, right? Because it's been a down part of the agricultural industry for a while.
Yeah, it's been a lot of years where it hasn't even really been close, where grain's done quite a bit better. So it's not, maybe we'll at least level off with our numbers here, like the national numbers, because it's been a lot of years of decline. And profitability, I guess, hasn't been there for lots of guys.
Yeah. Well, and remind me, you have cow-calf, and then you also finish too, right?
No, but we have purebreds.
You have purebreds,
so we have
okay.
The wholesale, and that would be our main thing, I guess, is the bull sale and heifer sale every spring.
How did your bull sale go this year?
It was pretty good. Yeah, not quite as good as the year before, but the year before was our first sale off the farm, like having the sale on the farm. So a lot of people say that will be a really good year, and then the following year sometimes drops off a little bit, but it was still really good. Like we were all very happy with it.
What's your breed?
And the heifers did amazing at the sale. Simmental.
Okay.
And then the heifers have a little bit of Angus in them. Some of them are purebred Simmental, and some have some Angus.
Why, in particular, was the heifer sale so good? Just the prices?
yeah, the prices were quite a bit higher than we were expecting.
Well, that's a positive.
And yeah, it was. Yeah, it was good. Some went as far as Ontario even.
Cool. What else is happening this week on the farm?
Trying to finish up haying. And then after haying, we got actually probably in the next couple of days, we should make the decision of what we're going to silage and what, if any. We'll probably still combine some, but have to decide how much. And then decide custom silager or try to do it ourselves. But with the custom silager, it needs to be rolled, so that's limited. I think I rolled 600 or 700 acres, but that's all they'll do because of rocks and stuff. They don't want to go on to land that's not rolled. So I have to kind of decide, make a plan, I guess.
With how hot and dry it's been, we can't even produce a cloud here right now. The haying is, you don't have to worry about water on the hay crop.
Yeah, we've got all of our hay dry and hasn't got a drop on any of it, so it's actually been very good haying weather.
Yeah.
There's a positive to it.
You can have enough volume.
Yeah, it's been a good hay season.
The water really helped.
Yeah, big time. Like if you added up the hay that we've got in 21, 22, and 23, we passed the mark a long time ago. Like we're going to probably make double of what we did all those 3 years combined.
Okay. Do you make it any field days at all this summer?
No.
No. How come?
No,
Don't enjoy them or just too busy on the farm?
Yeah, I've actually never been to one.
Wow.
Yeah. Like for different seed varieties and stuff, like for field days, looking at the crops and stuff, there's a seed grower right beside me, a few miles away, and I just totally go by what he says. He does trials and everything.
Yep.
And he says this is their wheat variety, the barley variety that works out here. I take his word for it. And then the equipment and stuff, I don't know. We run pretty old equipment, so yeah, I don't know. I've just
new stuff's
never made one.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
So yeah, I'll go to cattle shows and stuff in the winter, or I try to make some of them.
You get to Agribition?
That's what. I never this year.
No.
Have in the past though.
Yeah.
Normally Dad tries to go.
It's always a good time. Been a few times. It's yeah. So I always enjoy myself at Agribition. Which cattle shows do you like to go to?
Normally just local ones is what I go to, and then last year went to Oyen. Always go to Oyen.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, they put on a very good show. I think we always take animals there, and then went to Medicine Hat last year too. And yeah, I don't know. It's mainly just you see other producers and stuff, and it's always a decent time.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. Hey, Kresten, thanks so much for joining us this week on the Farmer Rapid Fire.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
If you have any feedback on today's program, you can send me an email, shaney@realagriculture.com. You can also find Real Agriculture across all the different social media platforms. You also can call the Real Ag feedback line. Why not just drop us a line, 855-776-6147. Thanks so much, everybody, for getting real and getting connected with Real Ag Radio. Big thanks to Pioneer Seeds Canada for being our exclusive sponsor of the Farmer Rapid Fire. We'll chat again tomorrow. Cheers, everybody.